Hey everyone, this is Daniel, and in today's video I'm going to talk about how you can enhance your menu using a gallery. So basically what I'm saying is that when you have an app and you've got a menu to either select a function or moving into a different screen, that menu is what I'm referring to, but how you can make that menu a little bit more enhanced using galleries. So here are actually some of the items that I'm going to cover over here. I'm going to use something called as a static or a data connection. I'll show you both ways. Static means you can actually put in a formula and get the data that you want as a collection, or you can actually make a data connection to an existing data source, and in my case it will be an Excel spreadsheet. I'll also show you how you can align them easily and accurately, which means how much is the height distance between the two buttons. I'll show you that. A really key feature over here will be how you can sort them easily and automatically. And you'll notice this is because if you want to sort the buttons in an ascending way, and then what's the functionality where you start adding and removing buttons, and what would be a manual process to remove a button and add a button. In this way I can do the sort automatically. Also, how can you add and remove them easily? That'll be a really great feature over here. And then finally, how I can do all of this using just a single formula. So these are the 5 things that I'm going to cover over here, and I'll show you the whole process. And as always, enough with the talking, let's jump into the demo. So let me get out of this slide deck over here, and what I'll do is I already have just a simple app over here, and what I did was show you what would be a normal scenario. In this case, I actually have an app over here, and as you can see, I've got these buttons over here, and this is pretty normal. I've got a button, and I've actually put these vendor names over here for who build these computer hardware. And then what I've tried to do is, if you do this normal, in a normal way by adding each of the buttons and making it as a menu, you would really have to align this properly. Like when you try to do it, these arrows over here, they actually do a really good job showing you that they're almost the same, but you would have to do that for each and every one of them and align it properly. So yes, it can be done as is, but I'm going to show you a way to improve it. So what I'll do is, the first things first is I'm going to actually just create another screen. We'll start from that blank one over there, and I'll come ahead and I'll actually go ahead and add a gallery. So the first thing I'm just getting a gallery over here, and the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and actually change it to just the title for now. All right, let's go ahead and expand that, and we'll do it this way, just kind of fill up the entire screen nicely over here. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just go inside the gallery, and I'll click somewhere, and then there I'm going to go ahead and drop a button. Alright, and then a couple of things I don't need. I'll remove this title. I'll also go ahead and say I don't need the arrow for now, so I'll delete that, and I've intentionally kept the separator because I'll tell you why. So we've got a simple lineup already done and ready over here. Alright, next thing I want to do is now is get the data. So in this case, let me just come over here and I'll show you a quick example. I have my OneDrive, and in my OneDrive I'll go ahead and actually drop an Excel spreadsheet. Now you could do this even by putting a spreadsheet, say, into your SharePoint document library, wherever you can get access to that spreadsheet. In fact, you could upload that spreadsheet data, static data as well. That's completely up to you. But I want to kind of make a point that, hey, the data is actually coming from a data connection, and that's what I'm going to prove here. So I've got this OneDrive, and I've got my Excel spreadsheet over here. So I'm going to take that and I'll drop it over here. So that way my spreadsheet is uploaded over here. And now I'll come to the app, and I'll come over here to the data source, go to my connectors, click on the OneDrive for Business. I already have that connection. Comes over here, and in my connection, yep, it's under Power Apps, and I've got my spreadsheet. And in the spreadsheet I just have one worksheet, so I'm just going to connect to that, and now my data source is connected. Alright, in this case I've got that. So the first thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is now align that data source to this gallery. And the gallery by default, let me just make sure I'm showing, I've selected the gallery, and by default I've got this custom gallery sample. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and change that to my OEM. The OEM was basically my spreadsheet name. So I've got that selected over here. Now notice something what happened. It went ahead and automatically updated the number of rows I have or data cards I have in this gallery. And the reason it did that is because it's automatically pulling the number of items or rows from that spreadsheet over there. All right. So it's automatically did that. So that's one thing. Next thing is I can go ahead and get my button. I can go ahead and line that up nicely. And then what I got to do is I got to first select the gallery. And on the gallery, I've already gone ahead and selected all the items over here. But when I go and do, when I go and click on the button's text, right here, buttons text, I'm going to go ahead and delete that text. And then the IntelliSense already tells me what options I have, which are coming in from the spreadsheet. And I'm going to do the MFR, which is the manufacturer. And there you go. Now I've already got the data coming in for the buttons from that spreadsheet. So I'll go ahead and make that a little bit bigger. Oh, that's too big. Maybe a little smaller. There we go. All right. So now notice something which you're noticing already. I haven't even done much work, but did you see the consistency in the design of the UI and the UX, the user interface over there? I mean, it's almost close to this one over here. And remember, in this one, I had to really do some moving around. In fact, over here, I got to move this up over here. I really had to put in some manual work to get that look and feel as accurate as possible. But in this case, just out of the box, it's already so accurate. So if I do my due diligence to kind of replicate what I have over there, see that? Now, I mean, the beauty of this is, I mean, I'm just doing a side-by-side comparison. If I went ahead and updated that button there, to make it look bigger, I gotta go and do the exact same thing. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Some of you say, Daniel, I got some workarounds for that. I can actually use variables and I can assign that variable to the height over there. Great, I understand that. But again, you're putting in all that extra work. You gotta go ahead and create a variable. You gotta assign a height, a text, and a number or something to that variable. You gotta tie that variable to the height of each and every one of the buttons. So you're taking all that extra effort just to maintain consistency. And I don't have to do any of that over here. All I have to do is just put in that button over here. I can move, I mean, all the design work that I have to do is all in that one button. And now, if I just move that button around to match whatever I need, it automatically takes care of the other button. So I can actually now make it very close to what we have over there. And to maintain full consistency, this separator, I'm going to go ahead and delete that. So now I already did that, so I've got full consistency over here. It kind of even exactly matches over here. See? Full consistency. And the beauty of it, this is I've actually got now 100% accuracy too. Like the width and the height of the buttons, the gap, see that separation? All of that is fully consistent over there. But let's not stop over here because we've got to go ahead and still do some work. Is now I got to go ahead and say, okay, this is a gallery. So basically in the gallery, all the formulas and everything you do, you always do it on the first item of the gallery. But you're coming and saying, Daniel, these are separate buttons. So I got to do something to tell the app that, hey, each of these buttons are different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with a scenario. Let's actually do, create some more screens, right? So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to create a screen and I'll just go ahead and drop a title here. Just that way we know what are the different screens that we have. So I'm going to call this one as the Acer because that's one of the screens that I have, and I'll just, for the sake of consistency, I'll just give it some color. That way when we come to the screen, you know what it is. So I'm just saying it. Now what I'll do, I'll go ahead and put that name as Acer here, make that as visible only. Now for the next few seconds over here, I'm going to fast forward through this. You'll watch me build these screens really fast. So I'm just going to fast forward through this. So here we go. Okay, wow, that took a while, but I went ahead and got all of them done. And I just fast forwarded through that so you can actually see what's going on. So in a nutshell, I just went and created all these screens. They're just blank screens, but all I did was in the header, I went and put the name so you can see what's going on over there. What I should have done was put in some home button over there. So let me go ahead and do that quickly, because that way I can actually come back to the home really fast. So let me go ahead and fast forward. Actually, well, let's just do that really quickly. Come here, go ahead and add that white, put that over there on select, do that on select. I'll do that navigate. I'm gonna back to screen 2. and I'm just going to say fade, and there we go. So now I can just go ahead and grab that and come back over here, paste. Okay, got all of that done too, so I should be able to navigate back. Okay, so now we come back with what I said in the initial demo, is that, in initial intro, is I'm going to do all of this with just one formula. And what I mean is that just applying one formula to this screen over here. So what the trick is, don't go to each of the buttons and do it on the on select, because it's not going to work that way. Since this is a gallery level change, which means I want to make the change at this entire gallery, therefore depending on which button you select, it will go ahead and automatically navigate to that screen, because I've got to look at the entire gallery and all the buttons to factor that in as which screen it is going to go to, because it looks to see, oh, this button says Acer, which means I need to switch over or navigate to the Acer screen. Therefore I can't do that at each and every button level. I have to do that at the entire gallery level. So now that you kind of understand that, I'm going to come over here. Remember, I'm clicking on the gallery, and on the gallery I'm coming to this on select. It's very important that you understand that, because when you think about on select, you immediately go to the button, but don't go to the button. You do it at the gallery level. Alright, so I'm going to now go ahead and make this a little bigger, and we're going to start doing some of this change over here. So the item that we're going to do is we're going to use an if command. Basically what I'm going to do is, in the if, I'm going to say that if this item that you've selected and its manufacturer equals, say, Acer, then I want you to navigate to the Acer screen over there. If it is Microsoft, then if the item that you've selected, this item that you selected says Microsoft, switch over to the Microsoft screen. So what you'll see is you'll see a bunch of these lines in that code over there, or the formula, but it's actually the exact same one. So let me show it to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this item, which is this specific item that I'm selecting on, dot, and if I say its manufacturer, and I like this because I didn't have to figure out what that MFR word is. The IntelliSense told me already. It said, hey, these are the options that you have that are available on the Excel spreadsheet, and I want you to select that. I know that over here I already selected MFR, which is manufacturer, so that's the one I selected. So I'm going to say that if this manufacturer over here is Acer, then go ahead and actually navigate to that Acer screen, and you can navigate it however you want. I'm going to do it as a screen transition fade. Alright, so you've already got that one line, and now I got to go ahead and formulate that for all of them. I'm going to come over here, and I'm just going to do a lot of copying and pasting. That way I don't even have to go ahead and think through what I want. I'm just doing a lot of copying and pasting over here. So this is the only one place that you will have to make a change anytime you want to add and remove buttons. But the beauty of it is, it's just one place you got to make a change. You don't have to go to each and every button and go ahead and see what the change it is. It's all in this one place over there. So as you can see, I'm going through really fast over here, making all these changes. I've already come through HP over there, so I got to go through and do the other vendors. Just keep in mind, and see, I missed this one thing. I was doing that. I got to also change the screen name. So I got to do that. I gotta change that one there. I gotta change that one there. Keep in mind though that you gotta get these spellings correct. Let me show you another example. Is I do that, I'm gonna add this other line. I basically copy and paste. Now this spelling that you have there has to match the spelling that you've got over here. So for example, I've got that button name is Samsung. This item's manufacturer is Samsung, and it's actually, you know, yeah, whatever you see on the button, it's got to match that. Technically, it's not what you see in the button. Technically, it's what is coming from that data source. So you got to match that. In my case, the column that I'm referencing from the data source is called manufacturer or MFR. These, like Acer, the Asus, Dell, HPs, Lenovo, Samsung, these are the names that are coming from that. And therefore, in my formula, I have got to match that name. If I don't, it's, first of all, it'll give me an error right there, or it might not even work. So keep that in mind. That's the one big thing you got to focus on. All right, I'm almost there. Samsung. Let me go over to and get my Sony done, and then this is the last one. Toshiba. Did I get that right? I did. All right. So I go over here, save that. Let's go ahead and save it, and let's do some testing. So we'll come back over here, Now, when I click on this, remember the button, it's on select just says select parent, but the gallery level is where I've done the big magic. So I come over here now. When I click on that, it automatically navigated to the Acer level. I can go and test the other ones. I don't have to go in a consecutive order. I can go in and now get Sony. And I did a call copying and pasting, so that's why I think all of them say Sony, but just let me double check. Come over here to Sony. Oh, they did not switch over. Let's double check my formula. What did I do wrong? So maybe for the Sony, yeah, that's why. See, I didn't change that over here. So good one. We went ahead and did some troubleshooting together. Samsung. Over here, I didn't change that. That's why Sony. Did I get that right? Nope, I did not. That, and then finally the Toshiba. See, that's what it was. It wasn't the formula mistake I did. It was just right here. So I did the Acer. Perfect. Worked over here. Let's come and do Sony. Into the Sony one over here. I can go. I don't have to go from top to bottom for this to work. I can sporadically jump around to any order that I want. And I did this. Alright, so this is just initial work over here. Now we can go ahead and actually make it a little bit more interesting. Right, say in this one over here, I've got this, the way this is working. Now one of the things I've done is I've already gone ahead and added, you know, the way the data is coming through. You know, like, let me back up. The way the data is coming through is already in a good ascending order by the name. But say, for whatever reason, it's not in an ascending order. So I can come in and do a sort by, and this is not new, this is something that has been there, you've seen it. I'm going to say that, okay, for this data source that's coming, I'm going to sort by, and in this case, the manufacturer is the perfect one. And let me go ahead and change that to descending, right? By default, it is ascending, so since the data is already very clean, the ascending actually doesn't make any sense because it looks exactly what it was before. But in order to show you a distinct change, say if I went ahead and changed that to descending, now you see the Toshiba is on the top and the Acer is on the bottom. The reason I want to show this to you is to make a very important statement, because over here, if I had to go ahead and do that change, I literally would have to get Toshiba to the top, this one to the bottom, so on and so forth, just to get that sorting corrected over here. It'd be a very manual process. But let's not stop over there. What if one of these had to be deleted and replaced by something else? What would happen? So in this case, say I have another name, say I have my own company named Daniel, then I would have to put in that Daniel right over here, because after Asus there's Dell, which is DE, Daniel starts DA, which means I have to put this over here, which means I would have to go ahead and reorganize this all over again. But in the app, I don't have to do that. Now let me prove that to you. I'm actually going to go ahead and edit that spreadsheet. I just got to go over to the spreadsheet over here, and so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll put in Daniel, and that I can just come back over here to the Power Apps. That should work. Let me close that and come back over here. Let me go to the data source. Just refresh it. Okay. When you see it's refreshed here, I'm not pulling it from a gallery, so I'll have to actually add that button over there. But over here, you'll see it came up perfectly and automatically, because over here after Dell comes Daniel. Even though on the spreadsheet it's in the bottom of the list, in this gallery over here, it automatically showed up over there. If I had to replicate that, I would actually come here, copy that, I gotta paste it back again, I gotta go ahead and actually change the name, and then I gotta go through this headache of sorting it out in a nice, clean fashion. I didn't have to do any of that over here. It automatically did that. And the same thing goes for deleting it as well. If I come over here, go back to the data source, and I click on that, and I say delete that row, come back over here, the data source will just, in any second it'll tell me, yep, it just got updated a few seconds ago. Here in the original screen, if I want to delete it, I gotta delete that back and go through that whole headache of organizing it nice and clean. But in the other screen, it's all easy. Let me just come over here and I'll show you that if I just refresh it, watch, if I'm going to refresh it, you see what happens over here. See, it took it off and it added that over here. Now the last thing else I want to show you, which is also another important thing, is you don't have a gallery here. Okay, which means what if there's more buttons I gotta add? So if I go ahead and start adding, I'm gonna manually just pick something, and I'm gonna say, you know, jazz. Okay, I'm just sporadically coming up with these names over here. Well, I gotta add jazz over here. Where do I add that? Because I don't have that scrolling functionality. But in case for the other screen over here, the one which is in a gallery, let me come back to my source and I start adding some names over here. So I'm going to say 10, I'm going to say jazz, I'm going to say 11, and I'm going to say smart, whatever. Okay, I just went and came up with some of these names. When the data has been refreshed over here, let me just double check. Yep, it got saved. I come back over here, keep an eye, and if I go ahead and just refresh this, it's a gallery, right? So what just happened? Let me refresh that because sometimes it takes a while. Yep, there it is. See, it's a gallery, which means I've got automatically that scrolling functionality over here. And the beauty of it is it was automatically sorted correctly. See, the Jazz came after the HP, the Sony came after the Smart came after the Samsung. I mean, it is so convenient to do it this way, not even from a aesthetically pleasing to the eye, but it is just convenient from you as an app maker, because now you don't have to go through that extra hassle of adding stuff and removing stuff and then rearranging it all manually. It automatically happens over here. So that's why, just as a recap, we were able to go ahead and replace this manual process to just by adding it one gallery, and in that gallery make sure that it's at the gallery level. That's on select that you do. In the on select, just make sure that you've got the first row correct, and then after that you just go ahead and do a lot of copying and pasting, and then just change the screen names over there. And then the other example, which was finally, was that I was able to, as you know, add another item. I was able to delete another item, and it automatically does the sorting. It automatically does the updating over there, regardless of your adding or deleting. The same thing even works for editing, because if I went ahead and edited something and its spelling was different, it automatically sorts it out in that nice gallery over there. So this is a very important lesson that I wanted to kind of show you all, is because now you not only can you use the buttons in the gallery, but that enhances your menu experience when you put that in the gallery over here. So hopefully this was helpful, and as always, keep power apping.